Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'd like to call to order. Do we have anybody?
814 here, yes.
What we got ready?
I think Marcus is going to call it.
Yeah,
right now.
calling now.
Just give it a second. I think there's a connectivity issue with the
A
app.
connectivity issue.
We
Really?
can't control the bleep loops, Governor,
We have a connectivity issue.
with the sound.
Hey, can you hear us?
Yeah,
We couldn't hear you all.
Can you hear us in Las Vegas?
I can hear you. This is Barbara.
Governor, can you hear us?
Anybody say anything? No, I won't have a sound.
We're having technical difficulties in Carson City. It'll be a minute, please.
I wore my shoes again today because they were so comfortable yesterday. So many people commented.
Really?
I thought you might wear yours today.
I was thinking about wearing them today,
I'm not
but
going to wear mine tomorrow, so don't even think about it.
they didn't go with my outfit. I needed to dress my outfit up, so I had to wear it.
Where's Aaron and
Everything.
yes.
I think they're on the phone.
Is anybody on the phone?
I can hear you, Governor.
Yeah, 814 is on the phone.
Justin. Justin.
In Las Vegas, can you hear the folks on the phone or not?
I can hear you. I'm in Vegas. I'm in my office. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Nope, we can't hear anything on this end.
Should we hang up and?
Yeah, so you want to just restart the connection. Yep, I'm here. So what? No, you want to restart the connection?
Because there's, I think we're on YouTube right now.
Oh,
We're on YouTube?
I think it's streamed.
Hey, are we
but I'm not
streaming?
sure.
Justin? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, no, I'm saying, are we streaming, or can we are we streaming?
We're close to
Restart
yes
the
and
connection?
four.
They're on the line. They can hear. It's just our room, and I think Susan's texting me, so I'll ask Susan to make sure that they know. Oh, they can still hear us. Marcus, we do have to redo the connection. It's not. I don't think it's this volume. It's like I think we just need to end it.
Restart the connection?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
I think we should hang up and call back.
Hey, Justin, we're gonna restart. You wanna give us a call back?
You want us to hang up?
No, stay on the line. Everyone, please stay on the line.
All right, thanks. We can just hear some mumbling. That's it.
Yeah, we're reconnecting to the conference room in Las Vegas because we can hear the governor, but he can't hear any of us.
Thank you.
814 is back.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Attorney General.
Thanks.
Governor, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear, but we're waiting for Marcus and Randy here.
We're ready.
Are we ready? Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here. Aaron and Barbara, you guys there?
I'm here, Governor. This is Barbara.
And I'm here as well. This is Aaron.
Okay. I think the problem's on our end here. Are we ready?
I just have to finish.
No, huh?
Okay, yep, I think we're good to go.
Okay. I think we're good. If anybody has a problem, please holler. I would like to call to order today's meeting for for December 8th, 2020 of the State of Nevada Board of Examiners to order. Could I ask the clerk to take the roll, please?
Governor Sisolak,
Here.
Secretary of State Sagaski,
I'm here.
Attorney General Ford.
Here.
Let the record reflect we do have a quorum.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. This is item number 2. This is the first time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item on today's agenda, please identify yourself for the record, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody in person in Carson City?
We do not.
Do we have anybody on the phone in Carson City?
Not hearing anybody.
Do we have any written public comment?
We do not.
Okay. I will then close item number 2, public comment, move on to item number 3, approval. I'm sorry?
Governor, I'm sorry. This is Patricia Adkins, and you didn't ask if there was somebody in Las Vegas. I'm sorry, so I didn't speak
Oh,
up
I'm
yet.
sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I do have
I
a
thought
little
you-
bit. Okay. Good morning, Governor. Although not directly related to a current agenda for today's meeting, Attorney General Opinion 9624 indicates that the Board of Examiners can hear matters related to the Board of Prison Commissioners, as those bodies are created and enshrined into the Nevada Constitution under Article 5, subsection 21. So I just have something really small that I would like to address. We currently face an emergency in our Nevada state prisons that require attention from the Board of Prison Commissioners. Everyone is sick with COVID-19, and they're not being provided the treatment protocol that is being administered in all the local hospitals, including vitamin C, vitamin D, just things that might help. In fact, one inmate was given a cough drop, one cough drop. They're not disclosing the results of the test results to the inmates that are positive. Our loved ones are living in a warehouse-style living, and they cannot social distance themselves. These inmates are not bringing COVID in. The employees are infecting our loved ones, and no one's protecting them. They're being subjected to these living conditions. I spoke with one inmate, like I said, who was given a cough drop. The California prisons has released inmates that are subject to these living arrangements as they cannot protect themselves. And I want to know who's going to start protecting our loved ones. Governor, there's a big percentage of men in our prisons who have already been paroled on the crime, but are being kept in there solely for a penalty. NRS 193165, use of a deadly weapon. Subsection 3 states this section does not create any separate offense, but provides an additional penalty for the primary offense. One cannot be given a separate offense if there is no, one cannot be given a separate sentence if there is no offense and no conviction. You have many men sitting in prison for the they have passed far past the release date. Because of these practices of the NDOC. This is not the first or second time that I've brought it up to this board, but now the third. And I was just wondering, when is somebody going to look into this? We have men that, like I said, are sitting in there solely on a penalty for use of a deadly weapon. Let's say they've been given a crime. They've been paroled on the first one, and yet they're sitting in there for a whole other sentence, okay, is what you guys call it. But yet it's supposed to be a penalty, and there should not be a whole other sentence for a penalty. It states it right in 193165. Anyhow, and I would also like to know if someone would set a board of prison commissioners meeting so that the public can comment, because they're so far and few in between that we don't have the opportunity to do so. We have to come to these kind of meetings. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Do we have anybody else in Las Vegas for public comment? Do we have any other public comment at all? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will close the public comment now and move on to item number 3, approval of the November 10th, 2020 minutes.
Move for approval?
We have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 4, state vehicle purchases.
Good morning. There are 2 requests for vehicles in this agenda item. The first request is from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, Division of Environmental Protection, to purchase 1 replacement vehicle for $35,662. The vehicle being replaced meets the age and mileage requirements in the State Administrative Manual. This vehicle was funded in the legislatively approved budget. The second item is from the Department of Veteran Services to purchase 1 replacement vehicle for $43,402. The vehicle being replaced meets the age and mileage requirements in the State Administrative Manual, and this vehicle was also funded in the agency's legislatively approved budget. Are there any questions on these items?
I do not have any questions on these items. Do we have any questions, Secretary or Attorney General?
No
None here.
question. Move
Do I have
for
a motion?
approval?
Great, thank you. We have a motion for approval. Any discussion on the motion? And seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 6, authorization for an emergency contract with the current and/or former state employee.
Item number 5 contains 1 request from the State Controller's Office seeking favorable recommendation from the board on their use of the emergency provisions in NRS 333.705 to contract with a former employee. The department contracted this employee through Marathon Staffing Group from November 16th through March 12th, 2021. The former employee will provide assistance to prepare and complete the state's comprehensive annual financial report.
Okay, do we have any questions on item number 5?
Move for approval?
We have a motion for approval on item number 5. Any discussion? All here and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 6, authorization to contract with a current and/or former state employee.
Item 6 includes 2 requests to contract with former employees pursuant to NRS 333.705 subsection 1. Both of these requests are from the Department of Transportation. The first item is to contract with a former employee to provide lead structural engineer services for the preliminary engineering on phase 2 of the Spaghetti Bowl project in Reno. This individual is employed by HDR Incorporated Engineering Company. The second individual will provide project manager services for right-of-way support and will be employed by Atkins North America. Are there any questions on this item?
Do we have any questions on item number 6? Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
We have a motion, item number 6, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 7, request for a recommendation of approval to the IFC for an allocation amount from the contingency account.
This item includes 2 requests for a positive recommendation to the Interim Finance Committee pursuant to NRS 353.268. The general fund contingency account has an approximate balance of $11.4 million to cover unanticipated costs for the remainder of the 2019 to 2021 biennium. If these items are approved, the remaining balance in the account will be approximately $8.4 million. The first request is from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Forestry Division for an allocation of $2,463,625 to cover costs for emergency response expenses within the forest fire suppression account.
Do you want to take these separately, Susan?
Sure, I was just going to ask if there were any questions on this particular item.
Let's take them separately. Do we have any questions on 7A? Okay, do I have a motion on 7A then?
I move approval.
Okay, we have a motion for approval on item number 7A for Conservation and Natural Resources. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 7B, Governor's Finance Office, Board of Examiners.
The second request is from the Governor's Finance Office on behalf of the Board of Examiners for an allocation of $500,000 to replenish the stale claims account. And the reason for this request is so that stale claims can continue to be paid for the remainder of this fiscal year.
Okay,
Any questions on this item?
I do not have any questions. Do we have any questions on item 7B?
None here. I move approval.
We have a motion for approval. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And again, Susan, I'm going to interrupt you. I apologize. I should have said at the beginning. I want to thank you. I've got some backup material on items. Anytime I have a question, you guys are so great at getting back to us with the information that we asked about. And I know my colleagues on this board feel the same way. So thank you, especially to you and your staff for doing such a great job and helping us here. Item number 8, request to pay a court order.
Item number 8 is a request for approval of a court-ordered payment of $42,507.27 for professional services and administrative costs related to work performed by the Special Master in case CV 20-00755 regarding a dispute concerning unemployment compensation for eligible unemployed Nevadans. And this request is from the Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation. Are there questions on this item?
Do we have any questions on the court order payment?
None here. I move approval.
We have a motion for approval. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 9, request for approval to join or use other government's contracts, DMV.
This item includes 2 requests from the Department of Motor Vehicles. The first item is a request to participate in the amended Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Division of Motor Carriers contract with Explore Information Services for the International Fuel Tax Agreement System. And the department has been a party to this contract due to an amendment by the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. This request is on the agenda. Are there any questions on this item?
I do not have any questions on this. Do we have any questions on item number 9 from anybody?
None here. I move approval.
We got a motion for approval. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 2, proposed leases.
But we're still on item 9. The second item there is also a request from the Department of Motor Vehicles to utilize a Department of Public Safety contract with Management Technology Group to provide quality assurance, advisory, and change management services to support the overall DMV transformation of its systems, environment, and business structure.
Okay, now these items were not listed as separate items. They all kind of ran together. That's why, do I need to undo this motion, or what do you want me to do?
I believe we can just make a motion on the second item.
Okay, these are going to be, these 2 requests in the same agenda item number 9 are going to be handled separately. We had a motion and approval on the first one. Do I have a motion on the second one?
Yes, I'll move to approve the second one as well.
We have a motion on the floor for approval. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Secretary?
Sorry, I said yes.
Oh, sorry, got it. Motion passes. Item number 10, proposed leases.
Item number 10 includes 10, I'm sorry. Item number 10 includes 9 leases for approval by the board today. Are there any questions on any of these items?
I had the question on item number, which one? 1? Is that the one?
Yes, the one with the meow.
The one with the 5% annual rate increases. That. I'm not seeing it here.
It's the first one on the agenda.
Okay, I apologize. Meow LLC. And my concern was it's a 4-year lease, and it had standard 5% per year increases on this lease compared to the other leases in this agenda that are nowhere near as rich. So I know you're going to check on that one. And I probably got something in my backup here. Nope, I don't. Okay.
So this information was sent to your office. And the reason for the increase, per the information that we received from Buildings and Grounds, was that utilities for this building are going up, and this is keeping in line with the increased cost to the landlord to cover those costs.
How is that different than every other lease, though? Aren't utilities going up for everybody?
It is my understanding that they are seeing this, where utilities are going up, and they are working with the landlords on those price increases. I don't know if B&G is on the phone that they could respond a little more eloquently to this question. This particular lease, it's my understanding, is under the market rate as well. Not that that's necessarily why the 5% increase is there. And I don't have that response with me from the agency on that.
Okay, my concern is that it's 15% over 3 years. So, do we have somebody from B&G to answer a question?
If you want to hold this item, I can see if I can get somebody on the line.
I think we
Okay.
should hold it, Governor. This is Barbara.
I mean, what do you guys think on this one? That seems, if you look at the other ones, they're 0 and 2% and 2% annually,
I think we should hold it, Governor.
Okay, let's hold these and come back to this one, Susan, if you can get somebody, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Let's go with item number 11, approval of proposed contracts.
Okay, item 11. There are 35 contracts in agenda item 11 for approval by the board this morning. Contract number 11 with the Governor's Office of Economic Development and the National Council for Community Development. I would just note that the correct amount is a reduction of $10 million. Contract number 20, the Department of Health and Human Services and Public Consulting Group, has been withdrawn by the agency. And contracts 9, 12, 13, 21, and 28 are contingent upon funding being approved by IFC at their meeting on December 18th. Are there questions on these items?
No, but if we're going to make a motion, you might have to repeat that. This is Barbara.
Okay, go ahead. I didn't hear what you said, Secretary. I apologize.
I was saying that she might have to repeat what she said about which numbers. I know 20 was withdrawn, but the other ones had to do with IFC, if they're going to get approved or not. So she might have to go back and repeat all of them.
Yeah, could
when
you
we
give
make
us
the motion.
that synopsis, Susan, so we can make it in the form of a motion?
Absolutely. So contract number 11 with GOED and National Council for Community Development. That contract, the correct amount is minus $10 million. Contract number 20 has been withdrawn by the agency. And then contracts number 9, which is GOED and the Kinney Gwinn Center for Policy Priorities. Contract number 12 with the Department of Veteran Services and Healthcare Services Group. Contract 13, which is the Department of Veteran Services and Masterpiece Cuisine. Contract 21, which is the Department of Health and Human Service and Public Knowledge. and contract number 28, which is the Department of Public Safety and Tyler Technologies, are all contingent upon approval of work programs that are on the December 18th IFC agenda.
So Governor, do those need to be pulled from here and us not approve them? I mean, it sounds like we're doing things backwards.
If
Susan?
I can just add, this is a normal process, Secretary, where this happens actually quite frequently. It just happens that this agenda has more than normal than we would see. And these contracts will be held in the Governor's Finance Office until those work programs are approved by the IFC.
It sounds like we're doing things backwards.
Okay, Secretary, we're having a little trouble hearing.
I know, I think somebody's in a car.
Oh, okay. Who's ever in the car, can they mute themselves, please? Are you comfortable with a motion that reflects the changes that Susan read, or do you want to do it a different way?
Well, I was thinking that since there's so many of them for IFC, that we could approve all of them and then wait and see what happens with IFC. I know she says that it's common to do it the other way, but there seems to be quite a few in here, so that's why I was just asking.
So if,
So, Darren, as I understand it, we typically do go this route where we sometimes approve at the BOE and then it goes to IFC for their subsequent approval. Susan, is there a reason why it can't go the other way, or is this statutorily the way we're supposed to do it, BOE first and then IFC?
so if we were to wait for IFC to approve the work programs, contract 9 is actually retroactive, so that one has a start date of November 4th. Contract 12 was effective on December 1st. Contract 13 is January 1st, so that would come, they would have to come back to the next BOE, I believe, for approval at the BOE after IFC approves these work programs.
Well, Susan, let me ask it this way. Is it problematic if we don't approve those 5 because of the time sensitivity? Susan?
It's okay, Susan. If you want to, I mean, Governor, if she wants to approve these, it's from the AG's understanding, this is something we've done before.
Okay.
And it looks like they've already been approved, so I'm okay if that.
Okay.
And I trust Susan because she's, as you said before, she's been very gracious to us, and I think she knows what she's doing. So thank you,
Susan,
Governor.
thank you, Secretary. So Susan, it's your recommendation we approve them?
It is my recommendation that we approve them, and like I said, we will hold these in our office until the funding is approved for the contracts.
Okay, then do I have a motion to approve this agenda item with the exception of the correction on item number 11, item number 20 being withdrawn, and items number 9, 12, 13, 21, and 28 contingent on IFC approval?
Yes, so moved.
We have a motion. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 12, approval of proposed master service agreements.
Can I just clarify on your motion that contract 11 was just with the change to the amount?
Correct, with the correction that you read, yes.
All right, thank you.
Item number 12.
Okay, item number 12, there are 4 master services agreements in item 12 for approval by the board this morning. Are there any questions on these items?
No questions here? You answered mine. Do we have any questions on this?
I have none.
Do we have a motion on item number 12?
Move approval.
A motion for approval, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 13 is the clerk of the board contracts. That's information only, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, item number 14, information item reports.
Can we go back to 13? I just want to make sure there aren't any questions on any of these 31 contracts that were approved by the clerk.
Did anyone have any question on that or on the motion?
None here.
Not hearing any questions, Susan.
Thank you. B&G is on the phone if you would like to go back to item number 10 for the leases.
Okay, and I've got a letter from them that basically says that costs are increasing and I believe it's due to COVID. Okay. Go ahead. Do I have somebody on the phone?
Morning, Governor. Warren Patrick, Administrator for Public Works Division and Buildings and Grounds. Thank you, Governor and members of the committee. We have comparable prices, as always, on these leases, and these comparable prices are averaging $1.35, and we have about 7 or 8 items on that list, $1.35 per square foot per month. The actual starting rate here is 87 cents per square foot per month. This is a little bit of an unusual lease in that it's a combination of warehouse space as well as office space. So, this is in Las Vegas, and this is seen as, because of the comparables, it's seen as a little bit of a loss leader for the lessor. And so, although we are concerned about the 5%, still at the end of the term, this will still be below current market rates. So I would provide that information to you. Also, I would point out that due to the recent audits, we're asking for lease requests from the agencies a year in advance, and so that enables us to do a greater level of negotiation. And so this lease is not needed to be renewed until April 1st. So if it's unacceptable to approve the lease below current market rates, we could endeavor to continue negotiations because it's not needed to be enacted until spring. Thank you.
Okay,
This is Barbara Kudowski.
please go ahead, Secretary.
I would instruct them to continue to negotiate because I am with you. I think 15% is very high, and I think it would behoove us to have them go in and negotiate more instead of just leaving it at 5% each year.
Okay. Attorney General, you good with that?
Well, I don't know. Let me ask a question. I just don't know the answers to them relative to the CARES Act fundings. Is there any implication of CARES Act funding that is involved with these particular leases, with this particular lease? Just asking so that we could, know for certain that we don't risk anything on that front.
Public Works and Buildings and Grounds is unaware of any CARES Act funding related to this item.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's no concern in that regard, then I can accede to the Secretary's request.
Okay, Susan, that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and approve these with the exception of that first one, okay? And give direction, go back and talk to the landlord and see what we're doing here. I mean, obviously, we can't keep paying 5% per year increases. Okay?
Yes, we will give that direction to the agency.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the proposed leases with the exception of the first one, which is Meow LLC. Meow like cat, Meow LLC. We have a motion on the floor for approval with the exception of item number 1, which we're going to bring back. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
All right.
Motion passes. Okay. I think we're on 14 then, right, Susan?
We are on 14.
Okay.
There are 2 informational reports under this item. The first is from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, Division of State Lands. And this is a report regarding lands or interest in lands transferred, sold, exchanged, or leased under the Tahoe Basin Act program, as well as a quarterly report on the status of real property or interests in real property transferred under the Lake Tahoe Mitigation Program, which is required pursuant to NRS 321.5954 and Chapter 355. This report is for the quarter ending September 30th of 2020, and there were no acquisitions of land in this quarter. There were 3 transactions under the Lake Tahoe Mitigation Program, resulting in 245 square feet of restored land coverage and an increase of $6,247.50 for the Nevada Land Bank. Are there any questions on that item?
I do not have any questions. Anyone have any questions on 14A?
None here.
No, Governor.
Okay, this is just an information item. 14B.
Moving on to the second report, this is a report on overtime and accrued compensatory leave for the first quarter of fiscal year 2021. My staff has summarized the report into a 2-page summary, so I'm not going to read the details, but I will hit a couple of highlights. For fiscal year 2021, overtime pay and compensatory leave account for a total of approximately $15.2 million, or 5.83% of total pay. This is a 17.39% increase from the first quarter of fiscal year 20. The Department of Corrections had the highest amount of overtime and comp time at $4.63 million, or 12.05% of their base pay. $1.72 million of this overtime can be attributed to COVID-19. This is followed by the Department of Health and Human Services at $3.28 million, or 4.42% of base pay, and the Department of Public Safety at $2.19 million, or 10.37% of base pay, which is a 12% increase over fiscal year 20. For the first quarter, as a percentage of base salary, the Department of Veteran Services had the highest overtime at 17.37%, followed by the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources at 12.52%, and then the Department of Corrections at 12.05%. Are there questions on this item?
How much of this, if any, were we able to recoup through CARES dollars?
So the overtime for corrections, the $1.72 million, that will be recouped through the coronavirus relief funds. There is also, for Health and Human Services, $1.29 million of overtime that is related to COVID-19. I have not reviewed their requests for reimbursement from coronavirus relief funds, but those are potential candidates depending on the funding source, the original funding source. It looks like a large part of that is with the Division of Welfare Field Services, and a lot of their overtime at this point is attributed to helping out at the Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation, and those costs will be reimbursed through the coronavirus relief funds.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it. Answers all my questions. Do we have any further questions on item 14? I think that completes the agenda. We don't have to go back to any that I skipped, do we, Susan?
No, we've covered everything, so
Okay.
I think we're just on to the second.
Public comment.
Yep.
This is the second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item, please step forward, identify yourself for the record, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody in Carson City in person?
We do not.
Do we have anybody in Carson City or on the phone?
We do not.
Do we have anybody with written comments?
No, we do not.
Do we have anybody in Las Vegas in person? Do not. Do we have anybody in Las Vegas on the phone? Marcus?
Yes, you do. There is public comment, Governor.
Okay.
Yes, good morning. For the record, Fred Volz. Given the state's fiscal woes, it's surprising that at least a decade-long problem of uncollected accounts receivable would not have received more attention from elected and appointed officials. Instead, the amount outstanding continues to climb almost to the $1 billion level at June 2020. The state controller, whose responsibility is to ensure collection, still hasn't finalized its receivables report from the end of fiscal year 20, over 5 months ago. The tentative report indicates over $260 million of uncollectible accounts, yet those accounts have not been brought to this board for write-off by the controller, the standard procedure. Why not? Under NRS 353C, state agencies make minimal efforts to collect these fines, assessments, taxes, and fees, then passively hand them over to the state controller after 60 days of sending out a few letters. The assessing state agency faces no consequences for failure to collect and has no financial incentive to ensure collection since the proceeds go to the general fund. While several $millions were spent in the recent past to implement a new automated collection system, there is no electronic linkage with the Secretary of State's office or the Department of Motor Vehicles to flag entities and individuals who haven't paid their debts and refuse to issue new licenses and registrations until the accounts are brought current. Why not? As at the Poorly Operated Public Utilities Commission, its most recent administrative fines aging report shows over 11% of administrative fines as uncollected. Most private businesses with this level of uncollected accounts would soon be out of business altogether. The oldest of these accounts stretch back over 12 years. The state controller has had the accounts for over 10 years and done nothing productive with them, nor has the PUC executive director taken the initiative to coordinate a write-off request with the controller. Again, why not? Similarly, whoever is working the collections process in the controller's office clearly isn't successful, as over half of the $987 million in outstanding balances are 60 days or more past due. Why aren't the accounts with some possibility of recovery being turned over to an effective private collection agency on a contingency basis? If just half of the $727 million estimated by the controller to be collectible were actually collected, that would certainly help the fiscal chasm the state will be facing this fiscal year and in subsequent years. While the Board of Examiners routinely provides final expenditure approval to state agencies, it needs to insist that uncollectible accounts be submitted for write-off. The 27 state agencies opposing fines, assessments, taxes, and fees need to do a much better job of timely collecting those monies owed the general fund or face cuts in their budget allocations. Legal resources from the Attorney General's office could assist state agencies who have no clue on how to proceed. I would ask that these comments be added verbatim to the record, and I thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in Southern Nevada for public comment? In person or on the phone?
Could we have those public comments submitted to the Board of Examiners, please?
Is the gentleman still on the line?
It was Fred Volz. This is Aaron Floyd, and I think he's a pretty he frequently appears in public comment, so we can probably locate him via an address or something like that to get information from him.
That'd be great. Thank you. Anyone else on the phone for public comment? Do we have any written public comment in the South? Hearing and seeing none. Do we have a motion moving on to item number 16? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Pick it up before. That's how you getting up. That's why I said it.